Hey, what's up guys, it's Brennan here, back at you with another video. So today guys, I'm going to be going over an interesting concept to where if you could only buy one single stock, alright, I had to choose one single stock to buy for all of eternity, okay? I could not sell out of it or buy anything else. I had to just pick one to ride for all of eternity, okay? The rest of my life, the rest of many generations, what would that one stock be, okay? Think about it like this, right? Would it be Facebook? And think about, like, is Facebook going to be around for 50 more years, okay? Think about maybe other companies that you might want to invest into, maybe Netflix, right? Like I just talked about the other day on the Netflix video. Would I want to be in there for 50 years? Do you think it's going to be around in the same social media landscape with like Facebook? I mean, Facebook's a good example there because think about it. Just 10 years ago, Facebook didn't really exist in the same way that it does now. A lot of social media platforms, a lot of just the way that the internet works has not been around for so long. So you think about it like, would I really want to put all of my money into just one stock that hasn't really been around for that long, what their plans are for the future? Like, things change, you know? People might be interested in one thing in some years, might be interested in another thing in another couple of years. So like, landscapes change. I'm currently invested a lot into PayPal, but do I really see PayPal for the next 50 years? I don't know. So what would be that one single stock that I would choose for 50 years, 100 years, eternity? So that one stock would actually be Apple, okay? Apple, and the reason why I'm going to explain more in depth as well about why I would honestly just pick Apple. And now you may be thinking, well, Apple hasn't really been around for forever, okay? They aren't exactly as old as some of the other companies, the manufacturing companies, energy companies that have been around for many generations. But the thing is Apple has taken over the entire market, and they pretty much have the largest market cap out of any company. But that's not the only reason why I would pick Apple. It's just because the real thing here is that they have the technology and forward thinking for the future. Now, the way that I'm saying that probably is mostly impacted by their brands, but if you think about it, Apple, as a company, could last for so long because their vision is not focused around one single product, okay? You think about Facebook, right? They're great right now, and they're definitely developing tech, but they're not exactly as far along as Apple with different tech and stuff like that. You think into the future, I mean, people might just move away from that social media platform. And not to dog on Facebook, not to say like Facebook's bad or anything like that, right? It's a great stock. I'm actually investing in them right now. But for the long-term future, okay, thinking about how things will progress and all that kind of stuff, companies have to adapt. Things come and go, of course. But Apple has always really been at that forefront, okay? And think about this. Maybe you wouldn't want to go with Apple, but that's who I would want to go with as the one single stock because they have definitely had that foothold in the marketplace within the tech space, okay? You think about self-driving cars, okay? Tesla, right? The brand that's around Apple, they're probably going to introduce their own self-driving cars, okay? Apple Car, I mean, they just always take over different marketplaces. Even think about Spotify, right? Spotify had they still own a huge percent of the market share within the music streaming service area, but Apple swooped in and made Apple Music and took over a large, oh my gosh, my voice right there. Man, I've been having these voice cracks way too often recently. But regardless, Apple had taken over a massive part of that market share there that Spotify had first dominated, and Apple just swooped in and took some. You don't think they're going to take some from Tesla as well? I mean, really, Apple has the cash flow and the amount of money that no other company has, okay? They are able to just swoop in and take advantage of any marketplace that they see advantage in, okay? So that's really the main reason there, is just they have such a massive amount of cash because other companies may not be able to do that as easily. So that's really why Apple has that long-term longevity, okay? You think about the iPhone, right? The iPhone right here, they have dominated the space and have been able to do that within only, with only a short number of years, okay? And they have the biggest cap. Okay, you don't think they're gonna last for a long time? I mean, Apple just dominates the entire market, okay? Anytime that Apple goes up or down, you can pretty much expect most of the stock market to go up and down with it. That's just because Apple is such a massive company. So even if you aren't invested in Apple currently, I was invested in Apple, I probably will invest in them in the future. It's just, honestly, if I were to pick one stock, that would be the stock for the long run, but it just depends on what your goals and outlooks are for stock market and stuff like that. So different types of investing strategies during certain times of your life and stuff like that. I know that a lot of older people definitely would go for something like Apple just because they have that security and stability. They also pay a dividend as well. That's another big aspect that I had neglected to mention as well, is their dividend, okay? They have one, so you would have some extra cash flow versus a company like Netflix or versus a company like PayPal is a little bit more speculative in the fact that they don't have a dividend. Neither does Amazon, okay? They don't have dividends because they're mostly just reinvesting that money into more growth. But if you're trying to invest for long term, only buy one stock, and that's all you have in your portfolio, you probably want to go with something that has some sort of dividend so you could have that extra cash flow, especially as you build up more and more money in that account. You wouldn't want to limit yourself to just one single stock that doesn't have a dividend. But really, this is just a hypothetical situation. I mean, it's kind of interesting thing to think about, interesting concept here of just investing in one single stock. I personally wouldn't really recommend that you just only invest in one single stock, but if I had to, if I was forced to, under these circumstances, I would pick Apple in comparison to any others just because of the dividend, the long-term growth, the fact that they're such a massive company. I mean, that really does help them. Their overall branding, the fact that they're able to just jump into any space and pretty much dominate it because they can hire the best people for that. So those are just some things to consider. Definitely, if you're creating your first portfolio, you do want to have some diversification. I wouldn't recommend just choosing one stock. Maybe choose one stock as your number one, and then under that, you could have a few others that you believe in as well. I'll be doing more videos on the channel as well about how to pick portfolios, how to get started as a beginner and all that kind of stuff, because I know a lot of you guys are into Shopify and stuff like that that are on my channel, but I've been doing some more stock market videos. I really started out the channel as well with quite a bit more stock market videos, but I've been getting back into it a little bit more. Figured I'd kind of bring that into you guys because investing really is important for the long term to have success, because if you just make the money and don't do anything with it, you need to have your money working for you. So I figured I'd introduce that a little bit more into the channel, and this is just a cool concept thinking of, oh, well, you know, if I only had to invest in one stock, what would it be? It would be Apple. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss anything. But anyway, guys, that's all for today's video. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.